play Dungeons and Dragons, play D&D. To play Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, you typically need a group of friends, some dice, and a bit of imagination. Here's a quick guide on how to get started. 1. Basic requirements. Players. D&D is usually played with 3 to 6 players. One person takes the role of the Dungeon Master, DM, while the others are players who control individual characters. Rulebooks. The main rulebook is the Player's Handbook, PHB. It contains rules on how to create characters, use magic, and resolve combat. The Dungeon Master's Guide, DMG, and Monster Manual are also helpful, but the DM can refer to them as needed. Character sheets. Each player needs a character sheet to keep track of their character's stats, abilities, and equipment. These can be printed out or filled in digitally. Dice. D&D uses a set of polyhedral dice, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and D20. The D20, 20-sided die, is the most commonly used. #2. Character creation. Each player creates a character, which will serve as their avatar in the game world. Here's a basic process. Choose a race. The character's race defines physical traits and some abilities. Common races include humans, elves, dwarves, and halflings, but there are many others. Choose a class. The class determines the character's role and abilities. Common classes include fighter, physical combat, wizard, magic, rogue, stealth and traps, and cleric, healing and divine magic. Assign ability scores. Each character has 6 abilities: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. These scores are assigned either by rolling dice or using a point system. Background. Players can choose a background or entertainer that gives their character additional skills and flavor. Equipment and spells. Depending on the class, the character will have starting equipment, weapons, and possibly spells. 3. The role of the Dungeon Master, DM. The DM controls the world and narrative. They describe the world and set up the story. Control all the non-player characters, NPCs, and monsters. Guide the players through adventures, combat, and role-playing scenes. Create challenges, like puzzles, traps, and encounters, and respond to player actions. The DM doesn't have to be perfect, they just need to keep the story going and make sure everyone is having fun. 4. Gameplay. D&D is about storytelling and decision-making. The DM describes situations, and the players decide what their characters do in response. For example, exploration. The players might explore a dungeon, search for traps, or investigate a mysterious city. Combat. If the party encounters monsters, the game shifts to combat mode. Players take turns using their abilities and rolling dice to determine hits, damage, or spell effects. Role-playing. Players often speak in character when interacting with NPCs or other party members, adding to the story and making decisions based on their character's personality or goals. 5. How to start a campaign. Pre-written adventures. For beginners, there are published adventures like Lost Mine of Vandelver, from the D&D starter set, or Curse of Strahd that give you everything you need to run a game. Homebrew. Some DMs create their own worlds and adventures. This gives the DM total freedom to invent the setting, story, and characters. Session 0. Before starting, many groups have a Session 0 to discuss character backstories, game expectations, and house rules. This helps align everyone's vision of the game. 6. Playing online or in person. In-person games, gather around a table with your dice, character sheets, and miniatures, optional, or use a battle map to track combat. Online play, use platforms like Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, or even Discord for voice or text-based play. Some of these platforms include digital dice rollers and virtual maps. 7. Advancing the story. As players explore, fight, and interact with the world, they earn experience points, XP, and treasure. With enough XP, characters can level up, gaining new abilities, spells, and power. 8. What makes it fun? Creativity. Players can approach problems in creative ways. There's rarely a right solution, and imaginative solutions are encouraged. Collaboration. D&D is a team game. Players work together to solve puzzles, defeat monsters, and progress the story. Improvisation. Both players and DMs often improvise, reacting to each other's choices in unexpected ways. Storytelling. Whether it's an epic quest to defeat a dragon or a small-town mystery, D&D is about telling a collaborative story. Would you like help creating a character or running your first session?